Welcome everyone to the second video of this microprocessor 8085 lecture series. In today's video, we will learn about the 8085 architecture. I will request all of you to watch the introduction video very carefully, because if you don't understand the basics, the further videos will not be understandable for you. So just as a brief replay, what is microprocessor? A microprocessor is a semiconductor micro-sized chip laid on a motherboard that is used to execute arithmetic and logical operations and produce the desired output. So what is the basic task of a microprocessor? Fetch. What is fetching? Fetching is to get the instruction and the data from memory, then decode. Decoding is understanding the opcode or analyzing the instructions that are written in a human readable language to transform it in binary format and then execute it as it is instructed. So that is the basic task of a microprocessor, and I'm sure that you all remember this block diagram. But today we will know about the architecture of 8085. What is architecture? Architecture is basically the design behind any device, like how that is constructed, which devices or which parts are being used. It is the internal design that is hidden behind the device. So in today's video, we will know the internal parts of 8085 and how they functions. So let's start with some basic characteristics of microprocessor. First one is a bus. I'm sure that you all know what is bus, a set of wires that is used to carry data or signal, whatever. 8085 has some specific qualities in this portion. Every microprocessor has some specifications. So 8085 has first address bus. 8085 has a 16-bit address bus. What does this mean? That suppose this is a line. I'm sure that you all have seen electrical wires. They are not such lengthy or something. They are tiny, but just to make you all the internal architecture, I'm having this broad diagram. There are 16 tiny lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are 16 lines. All will carry some sort of bit 0, 1 or whatever, 0 and 1. Every line can carry either 0 or 1. A 16-bit address bus means that at a time, this whole bus can carry a 16-bit number. Number means I will tell you that what is a 16-bit number and something. I'm sure that you all know because I've said it in the introduction video. So address bus is a collection of 16 lines. Each line is capable of carrying a single bit 0 or 1. So this whole line can carry 16 bit at a moment. This is what address bus is used for. This means that mu p has a 16-bit address. 8085 will always give you an address that is the size of a 16-bit number. So 16-bit address bus is used to carry address that is the size of 16-bit. Okay, it means I'm sure that you all understand what I'm trying to say. Now I think you know that if there is n elements, we can produce 2 to the power n combinations, right? So 16-bit address bus can have 2 to the power 16 combinations also. 2 to the power 16 means, suppose 2 to the power 6 or 2 to the power 10. 2 to the power 10 means 1 kb and 2 to the power 16 is 64 kb. So if someone asks you that what is the size of a microprocessor 8085 or how much memory can be accessed with 8085, the answer is 64 kb. Why? Because it has a 16-bit address bus. 16 bits can be carried simultaneously in through this bus. Okay, so this is why we can produce 64 kb. It's 65,300 something, I don't remember exactly. It can produce such combinations, so that much addresses, and on that much addresses you can store data or instruction, whatever you want. So this is why the size of a MIPI 8085 is 64 kb. Next one is data bus. MIPI used the 8-bit data bus. What does that mean? This bus can carry 8-bit number at a time. Okay, like in address bus we have 16 lines. In 8-bit data bus there will be like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8-bit 8 lines. So this bus is a collection of 8 wires. This is what a 8-bit data bus does. And the next one is control bus. You know that control bus is used for indicating signals. A question that is very important for exams, that why MIPI is called a 8-bit processor. Like you can include that point that it has a 8-bit data bus, but the main point is the ALU that is used in 8085 microprocessor is of 8-bit. The size of this particular part, ALU, this can operate on 8-bit numbers. Say for example that ALU can operate on 8-bit numbers, like if we want to add or subtract or any other instruction, there are 64 different types of instruction that can be performed in 8085. They all can be operate on numbers that are size of 8-bit or 1 byte. As the size of the ALU that is used in 8085 is of 8-bit, hence it is called a 8-bit processor. Okay, like this is a 8-bit number and this is a 8-bit number. You can add them one at a time. You can add 4-bit number also, but you can't add a 16-bit number at a time in 8085 because the size of the ALU or the extension, the highest extension can be of 8-bit numbers. So the 8-bit numbers can be operated via a ALU at a time. Okay, so this is this is why 8085 is 8-bit microprocessor. The next topic is registers. I'm sure that you all have done C programming. So you have used variables, right? Suppose let me create a variable int A, int B. What does this mean? That in RAM, create space for 2 variables. In integer, it depends on the compiler whether it will be a 2 byte size of variable or a 4 byte. That's not like needed for this to understand. So suppose, what does this mean? That create space of 2 byte for these 2 variables A and B, and then we can store data. Suppose A equals to 10, B equals to 2, whatever. But in microprocessor 8085, at that point, like in 1970s, okay, please don't mix these two. That point of time, MIPI is to operate on registers. Like it still uses register obviously, but now we have some like backup memory also, secondary memory, but at that point of time only handful registers were available and you have to operate on that only. So in MUP, the physical version of these variables are used as registers. There are many types of register like general purpose register or GPR, special purpose register. There are B, C, D, E, H, L, 6 register that are GPR in 8085. I will tell you in the upcoming lecture sorry. And the special purposes are like program counter, stack pointer. They are the special purpose registers. That is not needed to say here. So what is register? You know that register is a set of flip-flops. Flip-flops are used to store data. So registers can be said as physical memory in MUP that stores number that are used for operations performing at that particular point inside the MUP. Okay, like if I'm instructing the MUP, it is written in assembly language. Suppose MVI A, 10H, MVI B, 2H. If it is in C programming, this you have to write like this. In assembly programming, we use this format. So here you can say that in RAM, the space for these two variables have been created and the data will get stored. In this language, like in this way, there are two registers, suppose A and B. Here the data 10H will get stored and here the data 2H will get stored. This is how registers work. Now here comes the terror. I know that all of you have seen this huge diagram of 8085 architecture, and it's quite frightful also. When I was first learning this subject, I thought it's very tough, but after understanding that what all the parts do and revise it for twice or three times, then I was like, okay, this is not that much tough. We need to just understand that what each part does. So you know why guys find this difficult to learn? Because they start at the wrong foot. If we start to know from a right beginning, and you understand how does this works by time to time, you will find this really easy. So I don't want to start from this whole diagram. I will take each part of this diagram and make you understand that what each part does. Before I start you to explain that what the whole diagram does, you have to understand this small task. If you understand now how the program will get executed, then it will be really easy for you guys to continue further. How a program gets executed in a MUP, right? So if you notice the diagram at least a little bit, then maybe you have seen something called program counter. A program counter is a special purpose register of 16-bit size. What does PC or program counter does? PC holds the address of the instruction need to execute next. Okay, now let me discuss what does this mean. This is a MUP, this is your memory. Now we need to perform some task. Okay, suppose I have written a code something like this: MVI A, 30H, B, 03H at B. First, all this instruction and data will get stored in memory, right? So the first task is fetching. MUP needs to fetch that instruction and data from the memory to perform the operations, right? For that, we need the address of the instruction that where it is stored. That address will produce by PC. PC is always initialized with 0000, but here I have just taken some random numbers. So first PC will produce an address. Suppose here I have taken 4000. This 4000 or the 16-bit number will go through the address bus. Then the location 4000 will get selected, right? Where here we are doing a read operation, right? And in read operation we know that after the address bus has done its work, next task is done by the control bus. So control bus send the signal of RT bar. Now that data stored in that address will get selected, and that data will come through the data bus, right? See, here I have written this data of like 10 age, I've written this number, but if you notice my example, the first thing that is stored in that address is the instruction, and we know that memory can store both data and instructions also, like your programs, suppose WhatsApp, and data is your image. Suppose MS Word is your program and the DOCX file is your data. So maybe the data or it can be the instruction. It will come and instruction will get stored in instruction register. See, don't focus on the data part now. First I will tell you how instructions are stored, because this is instruction register. I will then tell you that how data will get fetched. So then it will come into the instruction register part. Fetching is over. The next thing is decoding. Decoding will get done by instruction decoder. What is decoding? Understanding the opcode or analyzing that what does this want to say. Suppose MBI A will have a particular pattern of data. Suppose this instruction says something 1011 00110. Sorry, it's a 8-bit pattern. This opcode will be understanding it by the instruction decoder. And the next part is execution. Okay. So what are the steps? First comes PC, program counter. A PC is a special purpose 16-bit register that is used to store the address of the instruction needs to execute next. Then control bus will indicate whether the MUPI has to read or write or whatever have to do with the data. And then the data comes through the data bus and it gets stored in the instruction register. It can be data or instruction, anything, right? That will be get stored in instruction register. See, here you have to notice one thing. The data instruction, it can be a little bit confusing for you guys. There are 64 particular instruction that is used in MUPI. This 64 instruction has a separate opcode for each other, for each and every one, sorry. But the data can be anything, 0, 1, 10,000, 2,000, anything that the user wants to operate on. So data is random. It can be anything. But the instruction that the MUPI has to understand, the MUPI is already instructed that, see, if this binary code is being generated to you, understand that this operation has to be done. So instructions, the opcode, understanding the opcode, the binary format of opcode is specified. That is why it is stored in instruction register. that particular binary format can be stored in instruction register, but data is stored somewhere else. So first, when instruction gets fetched, when the MUPI understands that this is the instruction, that will get stored in instruction register. So this process can be said as, so this whole process is fetch. Then instruction decoder will decode the instruction. After that it will get executed. So this is decoded. Now you have to understand something. When the fetching gets over and decoding comes to the process, what is PC doing then? You know that each byte has a unique address. Every instruction that you are writing will be stored at its unique address. It can never be same, right? If address is same, if 10 is stored at a particular address and 20 will also stored at that particular address, the MUPI will get confused that what is the right data that I have to operate on. So this is why each data will get stored at its unique location. This is why PC needs to get incremented at each time. When fetching is over, PC is free. So what does PC has to do? It has to send the next address, right? So that the program can perform smoothly. It can be executed smoothly. So this is why when fetching part gets over, there is a particular special purpose register which is called the increment or decrement register. I will say that why decrement register is also used. That increment register will increment that PC, and now PC will be 4001. This 4001 will get sent it by address bus, and now location 4001 will get selected. Then the control bus comes to scene, then the data whatever comes, right? So once fetching is done, increment register will increment that address that will be sent by PC, and then this address will get selected. This is why it is said that PC holds the address of the instruction need to execute next. Like once the decoding is done, PC has to give the next data or the instruction whatever. So this is why it needs the address. So each time after fetching is over, by increment register, PC will get decremented, and then it will be for 4002, 4003, whatever. It will get incremented by time, and a new address will get stored, and we will get that data, right? Suppose in this picture, first 0001, there was the instruction MBI A. This will get selected. I will say that why I've written something like this. You can obviously ask me that why didn't you write MBI A, 30H, right? This will be, you will get to understand this in timing diagram video, where you will know that this is a 2-byte instruction, and one address can store 1 byte at a time. So this is 1 byte. This is the next byte. So 1 byte is MBI A, and then it is stored. After that, the 30H is stored. So first, PC will produce 0000, this address MBI A. This instruction will get selected. It will get stored in increment register. Okay. After that, decoding ID will decode it. I'm sorry for this noise. Then after decoding is over, PC will get incremented. Now PC is 0001. Here comes the data. The data will come and it will stored in some register. We'll see it. Next, then again it will get incremented 0002. Oh, this is an MBI B. Now this will stored at IR. Then 0003. This is okay. This is data. This is not an instruction. It will get understood by the MUPI. Data will get stored some at any register. Then again the address will get incremented. By time the address get incremented and our program gets executed. Now this whole task, how this whole task can be performed by 8085 architecture, we have to witness this. So the first thing is program counter, PC. PC will gives you an address, 16-bit address. The 16-bit address will come and then it is divided in two parts. I will say that why it is divided in two parts. As it is a 16-bit address, so this is A0 to A15. The line numbers are denoted by A0 to A15. Don't look at this D now. I will say that why D is denoted. But first it is A0 to A15. So they are divided like A0 to A7 and then A5 to A18. Notice this very carefully and like stored in your memory. It will come to your way in this whole subject. Lower bit, lower address, higher bit, higher address. Suppose if the address is 4567, 45 will be stored in this and 67 will stored in this. So once PC gives you the address, it will come and select the address 4567 in memory. Now it will understand that whether there is instruction or data, it has to read or write whatever. Then it will, after selecting the address, it will fetch that number. Now one may ask that why this is a unidirectional bus and this is a bidirectional bus. Here comes your answer that why there is a D. See, you have to understand something, that address bus is only used to fetch the data. So why we should use a 8-bit address bus and 8-bit data bus where we can just multiplex it? Because once the address is given, only then a data can be taken or written. So they are multiplexed. A0 to A7 and D0 to D7. This bus are multiplex. It can work as both. When it is needed to spread that address, this is address bus. See, after address is given, it is free. Now it can be used as a data bus. This is a multiplexed bus. This is used to make your device more tinier and more clean also. Then after that address is get selected and that instruction is fetched, this will come through this bus and it will get stored in instruction register, right? After that, the instruction decoder will decode it and gives it to the timing and control unit. This unit is used to spreading signals all over the parts. See, that whole diagram is involved in execution. If you don't get the data, how can you execute it? Each part has its different work to be done, which signal will be sent by this timing and control unit. See, the particular lines that are connected with this timing control and timing control diagram, there are various lines. I just don't want to make the diagram look untidy. This is why I didn't draw this, but you have to draw this. This is connected to this, then this also, this also. Everyone is connected by this timing and control unit. Now, wait. Once the instruction gets fetched, next is the time for data bus. Now again, program counter will get incremented by this. Now that address is 0001 selected. Then again send that address, go to the memory, select that address, take that data, send it to the internal data bus, and now here comes to the scene the ALU part. This will get stored in this will get performed in this whole part. Now let me discuss it, that what each part of this portion does. 8085 has this particular specification that if we want to operate on more than one variable or number, more than one number, the first operand, listen carefully, the first operand has to be get stored in accumulator. ACC, it's a short form. Accumulator is a 8-bit register that is used for performing the operation that will be performed by the ALU. But the first operand has to come from accumulator. Always. If it is if you just want to store one, if you want to just add a, if you want to add, you need at least two numbers, right? So if it's 5 and 10, 5 must have to get stored in accumulator, and then we can use the other registers B, C, D, E, H, L. These registers can be used to store 10 in their memory, in their storage. But the first operand has to be come from accumulator, and after this addition happens, the result will also get stored in accumulator. Accumulator means what? Collecting, right? What accumulator does, it collects that instruction. First, suppose 5 will get stored, then 10 comes. After their addition, it will become 15. So this is what accumulator does. So in microprocessor 8085, this is a specification that if you write add B, the MIPI already understand that the first operand is stored at A, the next operand it is B, you have to add them, and this result will get stored at accumulator. You need not to write that add A comma B. This is implied addressing. The MIPI already knows that the first operand has to come from accumulator. So wait, the first data come, then again the same thing happens, the instruction comes, again the next data comes. So here is 30 and 3, right? Accumulator will store 30, temporary register, like it is obviously by the name you understand that it is used for temporary storing. 3 will get stored here. Now both of the line came. The operation being performed here, arithmetic logic unit, the result will get produced 3, 3, and again it will get stored in accumulator. Clear? Now here a thing comes that is called flag. What is flag? Flag register is a special purpose register that is used only in 8085. Why? It's a 5-bit register. Its size is 5-bit. Why flag register is used? Flag register. This is a whole topic. I will make a video on this only. Flag register is used to show the status of MIPI. What does that mean? There are 5 particular parts in a flag register: carry flag, zero flag, sign flag, parity flag, and so on. These 5 particular bits are used to store the status. Okay, what does that mean? Suppose here I am using 5 and 10 for addition. Now this will get you 5, 1, 15. So is it a 0? No. Does it have any carries? Maybe it's no. Is it a positive number? Yes, it is a positive number. It can be a negative number also. This is why sign is used. Hence, flag register. This is how flag register is used. It is used for storing the current status of the MUP. If you notice that there are bidirectional signal here. Why flag? Why? If you just flag is used for showing the current status, why there is bidirectional? Why it also needs to say the ALU, that see this is what is happening in U. Why it is needed? Suppose you are adding a big number. Okay, 0 1 1 0 1 1 1 1 1 1 0 0 whatever. 1 1 1 0 1 carry 1 1 1. See, we know that B, C, D, E and HL, these are 8-bit registers. So if we want to carry some big numbers, maybe it can be 16-bit number, then it will produce a carry also, right? If we need to add more big numbers, if there is a carry, and if you want to add these two numbers, you need to add that carry for correct addition. This is why flag register is used. If something this type of case happens, then this flag register also needs to say, it will give the signal back that say there is a carry, you need to add this also. So if there is a carry, it will again send it to the next number and then it will get added. This is why flag register is used. Okay, and that is how an instruction get executed. After that, it will get stored in accumulator. Again, it will go. Then an address will get selected. And it will get stored in memory, and you will see the output. Correct? Now you can ask me that what is the function of these things? What are they? So if you have seen the MUP, that's like a chip with some pins by them. There are MUP is a 40 pin. There are 40 pins in MUP. These are those pins. When I will say you the pins of 8085, I will tell you that what each of them has to do. Okay. Now there is only one thing you need to remember again. See, B, C, D, E, H, L is, you know that they are a general purpose register used to store data. Program counter, you know. Increment, you know, but what is decrement? Why decrement is used, you don't know. And what you don't know is W and Z. Other things I made you clear that what each part does. Now you have to know what does these things do. If you have done some sort of programming, I think you know what is stack. Stack is a data structure, right? That is used. It's a various used. It is a very vast application in our daily life. What is stack? Stack is a data structure where it works as LIFO, last in, first out. Suppose this is the address 1000. The first element that comes in a stack goes on the bottom. Then 1000. Then it will come element 2. Then address will get incremented and the element comes last, goes on first. How stacks used? Suppose this is the first pin that comes in scene. It will go to the bottom. Then the second, then third, then fourth. They comes as 1, 2, 3, 4. But it will shown as 4, 3, 2, 1. Right? This is how stack is used. See, your whole life will not be like adding two numbers. You have to do massive programs. Then we need so much of memory. But we only have 6 registers here, one accumulator 7, and some temporary register and all. We only have handful of registers. How much data can be stored in them? Suppose if a program you had to add 100 numbers, then you need that much big memory. Then you need to use the outside memory, right? So then stack comes into the scene. See, if you have to store data in 8085, you can store it in 3 ways, either in register or in like normal in memory, or by using the stack. Why stack is ideal to use? Let me see. So I think you all use WhatsApp, and you know that if there are messages, there comes message. One comes at 8 p.m., one's at 9, one's at 10, one's at 11. The person who texts you first, that message will comes at the least. Then at 9 p.m., then at 10 p.m., then at 11 p.m. So in our daily life, we see stacks everywhere. Why stacks are ideal to use? But first, just answer me that why we use array. Array is a continuous data structure. We can use variables for storing, right? But why do we use array? Because if you know just one address from where our data is stored, there are something that there are other data also. If you can trace that one address, then you can also know that where the other data are stored. Because if you know just this one address, you just increment it or decrement it, and we can get the data. We just need the address of the top of the stack, right? Suppose 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003. So this is the top of the stack. If you know the address of this, we can just by decrement it, we can trace the data, right? So what is stack pointer? A stack pointer is a special purpose register of 16-bit, obviously, because it stores address. Listen to me very carefully. Stack pointer holds the address of the top of the stack. Stack pointer holds the address of the top of the stack. Why? Because if you just know the address of top, we can also trace the other addresses. Now here you have to understand that why decrement is also used. If you use stack, I'm sure that you know that there are two operations that can be performed: push and pop, right? Suppose, let me draw 100, 200, 300, 400, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 2, 0, 0, 0, 3. If we need to do push, what do you have to do? You have to add data at this top. Just know this address, stack pointer holds that address 0003. Go instruct that push 05. So the address will get incremented and 05 will get stored. This is why we need increment register. But if you need to do pop operation, what does that mean? You need to delete that data. You need to take that data back. You need to take 100 back. Then also you just need to add that address of the top of the stack, and we can delete that data. But then suppose we say pop 5, this will get deleted. Pop 100. Now the address needs to get decremented from 0004 to 0003. This is why decrement register is needed. Okay, so why stack pointer is used? If in case of programming we need some external memory from like in 1970s, if you need to use that RAM, here you have to store. Like if you are doing programming in MUPI, but you need to store the data in memory, in case we can use the stack pointer so that the data can be stored in memory, and by using that we can access to the data. Okay, last thing, W and Z. why W and Z is used. They are not general purpose register. W and Z, these two registers can be used only by the MUPI. Okay, how, why, when, why user can't access to this. Say for example, we all have done exchanging of numbers, right? A equals to B, A equals to 5 and B equals to 10. Do something so that now B holds 5 and A stores 10. What did you do? You need an extra variable, suppose it's C, right? First, step 1, A is 5, B is 10. What did you do? You copy the data of 5 in C, copy the data of A in C, so now C is also 5, right? Step 2, copy the data of B in A, so now A is 10, C is 5 and B is also 10 because we just copy the data, right? Step 3, copy the data of C into B, so now C is 10, B is 5. What is the end result? B gets 5, A gets 10. But here you are using an extra variable, that is C. This extra variable in 8085 we can use them as W and Z register. For some special operations, MUPI use W and Z. Only MUPI can use it, not a user. MUPI use this W and Z register to store the data. These are special purpose register used only by MUPI for special task. I've just given you just an example. Okay, so this is how W and Z is used. Now we know that these registers are of 8-bit, right? W, Z, B, C, D, E and HL. If we want to operate on 16-bit numbers, we can use them as pair. They are called register pair. Register pair is allowed in MUPI, but you can't just make a BD a pair, HL, HE a pair and something. There the pair has to be BC, DE and HL only. By this register pair you can perform on 16-bit numbers. So this is how microprocessor 8085 architecture is done. I know this is a quite long video, but I have to discuss all the parts for me to understand. Otherwise you all think that this is a very tough subject to crack and all. But it is not. It's a very interesting and lovely subject to learn. So this is how 8085 works. For a quick replay, first program counter will give you the address. That address will come to this address buses. They will fetch that instruction. It will get stored in instruction register. If they fetch a data, the data will get stored in accumulator, then in temporary register. After the performance, after the operation, they will show the status, and that result will get stored in accumulator. Again, after this, after storing the result, it will again go to the memory and we can produce a output. This was it, the whole lecture of 8085 architecture. If you have any queries, please ask me in the comment section, and I will upload PDFs related to this so that you can access to this video. I hope this is helpful to you, and if any queries or if I have done something wrong, please pin me. Thanks for watching and do subscribe please.